Thank you for coming to Stone Soup Poetry tonight as we continue or restart our National Poetry Month celebration. We only had a small open mic. Well, actually, it was a kind of a big open mic last week, but no feature because of a schedule move. But this week, the features return, and we are very happy to have Gloria Monaghan, who has not only been a multiple-time Stone Soup feature on the live section, but also a multiple many time published author whose newest book came out late last year. So hopefully she'll be able to provide some links for which to purchase the book. And if she has a Venmo or Cash App that we can donate to, we would love to do that as well. So she can link that in the chat, and we can put that in the main Stone Soup page as well. There's a lot of people who have just recently joined us. I believe Dina has asked to put herself down on the open mic, which makes me very happy. There are those of you who are friends of Gloria. There are those of you who are students of Gloria. Welcome, all of you. For those of you who would like to participate in the open mic, I'm only going to know that if I hound you each individually, but that might be a little too embarrassing for you. So I would like to know if you would like to participate. Oh, looks like Dina's saying she's not reading, so that's a take back. But if anyone who would be interested in reading on the open mic, please put yourself down in mark yourself down in the comments. I'll be checking them as the night goes along. For the regulars who have been here week in and week out, of course, I know that you want to participate, so I will put you down. And we are going to go to the first person on the open mic. And for those of you who are here for the first time, I hope you come back, because we do meet every single Wednesday from 7 to 9 until the pandemic lifts. And once the pandemic lifts, we are probably going to continue the online format. Stone Soup is probably going to change after it does its 50th anniversary celebration this coming May. Founded by Jack Powers in 1971, pardon me for saying this. I'm taking care of a call that I can't take right now. The format since 1971 is founded by Jack Powers, has been every Monday or sometimes even Thursday or Tuesday night. We've changed the dates, but the weekly format has remained the same. It's probably going to change moving forward, given that the Zoom format works so wonderfully. But we would like to resume live calls, but we would like to keep the online foundation that took us a year to form going in some way, shape, or form. So I hope that does continue. And speaking of the open mic, let us go to the first person who I have marked down. This person's been a many-month participant, participant over the last year, and he has been also a first-time feature using the format. Not content to let rest on his laurels, he also has a book out through Kindle and many books available on his website. Just ask him about it, and let's welcome up Mr. John Wesick.
Hi, thanks, Chad. So my buddy Ani Chidi just got his PhD in astrophysics from MIT today. And, I met him in a class at Improv Boston. So in honor of Dr. Ani Chidi, I will read this poem called Improv Student Showcase. The green room roars, 7 things, 7 things, 7 things. Improv students clap to the rhythm. Stan leads us in a warrior chant. We will crush their bones with humor, drink applause from their skulls. Past inspirations decorate wooden beams in black magic marker. Stay golden, pony boy. Fail better. Bodies bump backstage, then fists pumping to some disco tune. We dance onto the stage like an interrogation from a film noir. Bright lights hide the audience in darkness. A Zen master would face this with a mind, a dustless mirror, but the Kentuckian samurai I imagine obsesses me. Fear is in the waiting, not in the doing. They laughed at me at the university, but from this lump of inanimate flesh, I have created Martha Stewart. We play with living scenery, sweep edits, scene crashes and callbacks. Get a few laughs. Look, I taught this squid to read Braille. At the after party, Marco's laughter echoes from courtyard walls while Rachel strikes poses in a pantsuit with shoulder pads. For me, only the bones of reality. Lonely subway ride, parking garage, gray cement under artificial lights. Out of nowhere, love swells in my chest. Love for the lawyers returning from a banquet. Love for the woman arguing about Gouda over a cell phone. Love for the janitor sweeping a deserted platform. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Let's see who I have next on the open mic. Yes, we were hearing him a little bit during the preamble of the pre-recording, and it'll be good to see him strutting his stuff early. Let's welcome up Mr. Bill Lewis. Looks like you need to be unmuted again, sir. Okay, I know I don't need to be unmuted, but you need to unmute yourself, Bill. You need to unmute yourself.
I'm not muted, but I can't hear you. What's wrong? Are you okay?
I'm okay. Can everyone else hear him?
Can everybody hear Chad?
I can hear everybody.
I can hear everyone.
Oh, God.
I don't understand what Chad's problem was. I love you anyway, Chad. I don't know why you put up with me. Why do you put up with me? I would kick me off right away. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, but I have had a glorious, glorious week. I am going to just tell you how happy I am to be able to say that my students, the kids that I'm teaching, did that. They built a web server. They generated HTML. They sent it over to a browser. They read the raw bytes from the browser and figured out what it meant and built a web server. This is your 13 and 14-year-old kids who are, I'm just like so psyched, and we are just doing such cool stuff. And I am just happy with that. So as you can understand, I'm just getting psyched and all that kind of stuff. And which made it seem appropriate that I should read part of one of those poems that have that bit of inspiration. It's that the COVID crisis versus the COVID opportunity and the necessity. And we all know this one. Listen, my children, and you shall hear the midnight ride of Paul Revere. On the evening of April in 75, hardly a man is now alive who remembers that famous day and year. And then it goes on to describe his ride. And at the end, so through the night rode Paul Revere. So through the nights went his cry of alarm to every Middlesex village and farm. A cry of defiance, not of fear. A voice in the darkness, a knock at the door, and a word that shall echo forevermore. Forborn in the night wind of the past, through all our history to the last. In the hour of darkness and peril and need, the people will wake and listen to hear the hurrying hoofbeats of that steed, and the midnight ride of Paul Revere. And that is us through COVID, my friends. We are on that steed. We have risen to the alarm. Our friends, our neighbors needed us. And what did we do? We stood up and helped people. I work daily with people who talk about doing better now than they were doing before COVID. And I'm going like, yes, yes. This is what kind of people we are. This is the people we can be. And I get all excited. And so I'm hopping up and down and feeling glorious. We are doing great things. Continue. Go forth, my friends. Be a better person. La-di-da-di-da. Take care. Thank you.
La-di-da-di-da. Take care. Thank you.
Well, you know, what do you want me to say? I got excited. I see. I'm so excited when
it's a
Chad
quote.
is here.
It's a quote from Bartlett's. We're quote worthy and to be in Bartlett's, sir. La-di-da. I don't know. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Bill. Whoop. We got someone coming in. If you're coming in, please be sure to mute as soon as possible.
I know that name.
Oh, is this who? Michelle?
Yeah, that's Gloria's daughter.
Oh, okay. Hi there, Michelle. Are you?
I haven't met her. Looking forward to meeting her. I hope she. I wish I could show my face. I don't know how to do what I'm doing. I'm just glad I can hear.
Well, I'm going to ask you to. I'll ask you to start the video, and maybe that'll help you out. Are you reading on the open mic, Michelle?
Oh, no. I'm just a spectator. Hi.
Okay. Well, we can see you now.
Thank you.
That's good.
Oh, that worked. That's very nice. Thank you. You solved all my problems.
Thank you. All right. And now we're going to move on to the next person on the open mic. She has a reading coming up this weekend as part of her Brownstone Poets reading series. And as well as probably like a half dozen publications I just still don't know about. Let's welcome up Patricia Kerrigan.
Hi. 2 short poems. To Say I Love Him, inspired by Nina Simone. His engraved name on stone tells me he's not coming back. The mistakes made, the regrets that haunt. Dreams can't revive what's lost. Rain comforts my face and hands. Trees stripped of youth wait for me to pass. A wilted red rose finds perpetual sleep. Grief is laid to rest. Okay. Last one, Smoke Gets in Your Eyes, inspired by Miles Davis. Your match tries to strike this nasty woman. Status quo burns for lust and honesty says no. Sulfur dioxide smells more than petals, and maverick thorns reject your pursuit. Silly hearts and sayings incinerate self-esteem. Phone numbers on matchbooks have amnesia and turn to ash. Your smoke avoids insight, a serpentine spiral to nowhere. The dance floor widens, her bouquet takes flight. White rose innocence masks the bridal pyra. Thanks.
Thanks, Patricia. I'm trying to, here we go. And trying to see who's next. Oh, yes, this is going to be easy. Another one of our new friends via the online format, who I would be sad to lose moving forward in the hypothetical post-COVID world coming. Let's welcome up Mr. John Stickney.
Thanks, Chad. So like Chad, I've been trying to do a poem a day. I don't know if you guys have caught Chad's poems. Excellent poetry, Chad. And mine is a little more hit or miss. Hopefully this was early on, so I still had ideas. So early on in the month. There's no way of knowing. My supervisor had a photographic memory. It helped him survive law school. Sites in cases right there on a printed page to be recalled and recorded word by word on every test. I was never that blessed. My memory was a trick bag at best. Members of obscure rock bands, their instruments and names, no problem. The capital of certain states, the batting averages of slightly above average Cleveland Indian ball players, random selections of verse, 25 lines of the prologue of Canterbury Tales in badly mangled Middle English. Won that opera in the Shura Sota, the drought of March. A Willie Shakes sonnet and soliloquy. How to spell soliloquy. Nothing harmful, but nothing really useful. Over time, my memory has become merely photogenic. When I search my data banks for an answer, there's usually a smiling figure, hands up in a gestured shrug, or a good-natured guy winking, the cartoon balloon caption above him, reading, "Guess you're a dumbass." At least it's not a 404 error message page. I'll take good-natured over blank stare any day, even today, whatever the date, day of the week, or year it may be. Thanks.
Thank you, John. And up next on the open mic is one of our participants by phone. Not everyone has an iPad or a laptop, so it's good to have people joining by the phone. And this one person has been here since the beginning, even when she was recovering from an injury. She was still participating in the open mics as last May for Stone Soup's 49th anniversary. It was great. It's been great to have her on just about every single call ever since, and it's great to have her right now. Let's welcome up Carol Weston. You're up, Carol.
Okay, thank you. Well, in 1970 was the 1970 was the first Earth Day, and John, my husband, and his college where he taught had Earth Day celebration, and all 700 of the students and faculty came, and I was told to write a 3-minute piece, so I took the scissors and cut it up, and here it is. The ironworks depends upon the waterfall, depends upon the force of gravity. The eye depends upon the light, depends upon the sun, the rise and fall of flaming gases. Hair depends upon the growth of bone-like structures, fine and flamed with color. Earth depends upon the fall of meteoric dust, the layers of what the foot has stuffed and pressed through centuries. The foot in all its forms, from pseudopod to wings. The wheel depends upon the perfect outward pressing of the spokes, the turning of the circle like the flower form, or like the sphere we turn upon, among the others turning. I depend upon the one beside me, who depends upon the one beside him. I depend upon the air, depends upon the leaves that shine, depends upon the death of the mouse under the earth, putting forth vapors. Leaves that shine depend upon the sun, the ultraviolet rays passing invisibly into them. Excreta of the rabbit fall to earth, and flowers form there. Brown and colored leaves fall down to earth. The earth grows higher. Lives that have been fulfilled are buried in the earth. The earth grows higher. On war fields, lives that have not been fulfilled, their blood shines brighter as they too are buried, and the earth grows higher. Earth grows higher in its sadness. Earth grows higher in its richness. We walk through the smothering fumes into a danger we cannot smell. We are walking around ourselves, and it becomes harder to move because there are so many of us. In gas masks, we walk to the seaside and beseech the waters to help us. We turn around and beseech the earth to come back to us. One of us kneels down on the earth and puts his ear against the soil. He hears the voices of the tree roots and the disappearing music of the minerals. He stands up from the soil where he kneels, and he tries to open his mouth with the answer, but the words do not come to him. The earth is still under us somewhere. We do not know the Godhead that pervades the stems of plants and directs the course of crystal making in the rock. We lose our connection with the histories living under our feet. We lose our connection with the history of animal kind which lives in our bodies. We lost our touch with magic, and though we are finding it again, our hands are contaminated and we cannot see what is put before us. Artificial substances surround us, and we forget where our beginnings are with the earth and become people who cannot feel overrunning the world. We speed demons spin faster than the turning of earth in our machines and crash into smithereens with our miscalculations. Our mathematics is invading the spheres. Our truths are polluting the world we breathe in. We do not know where not to tamper. We track down the sacred in its grove and stamp on it to analyze the invisible substance dwelling there, which shall always evade us. We are in strangely close quarters. The news is walking around us. There is no safe distance away to watch it. The air we breathe blows from our cities to our forests, and the great pines fall. We depend upon sleep. We shall wake wet with renewed visions. We shall look at our hands and remember what we were made for. We shall look eye to eye with the bird and listen longer at the tree stump or in the starlit darkness. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Carol. Thank you, Carol. We do have a couple of people who have just joined us. We've actually had a lot of people who've joined us, and
Very lovely.
I'm asking people who are just joining us to make sure you're muted for the sake of politeness for the other people who are reading on the open mic. We do the open mic first, then we do the feature. However, if you are here, I know people like Kelly Dumar are poets of no small water. So if the poets coming on are just here to listen, that's great. We appreciate the ears, your time, and your eyes. If, however, you are interested in participating, please send me something in the chat. I know most of you are able to do that, except for the phone people. The phone people cannot see the chat. So I'll let Carol, I'll let you know that Gloria loved your poem. And looks like Kelly's here to listen, but if anyone else is here to do something other than listen, please let me know, because unless I bother each of you individually, which looks kind of dumb, or it sounds kind of dumb if I'm doing this, especially on a live stream, then I won't know. So send a text, and I'll gladly add you. We have a festive open mic so far, and we have more people to go. We're going to go up next to, I hope she's still here. This is the first time I've had 2 pages worth of participants to sort through. Jan Rowe, are you there? Huh, Jan. Oh, there she is. Jan Rowe, are you there? Uh-oh, Jan, you may not be, I can't hear you. So unless you know what's happening, I might have to skip you over and then come back to you if we can't hear you. You may have to try signing in again on a different format, but right now I can't hear you. So I will mute you right now and I'll come back to you in a little bit. So moving on to there, we'll go to our next and final phone participant of the night. And that would be, again, I have to find her. It's so crazy. It's a wonderful problem to have when you have so many people. You have to quickly sort through everyone. Let's have her press *6. And this is the next other person who's been joining us by phone week after week, almost since the very beginning of last year's pandemic, starting with Stone Soup's 49th anniversary. Let's welcome up Nancy Dodson.
Thank you. Baby bird, tweet, tweet, says baby bird. She descends toward a crumb and picks it up and hops away. The prowling upstairs cat pivots to bat her with his paw, but she misses as she flies away. The baby bird scurries behind Piggo the squirrel that devours most of the crumbs. Piggo chases another squirrel. The baby bird picks at a crumb and soars away again. The other squirrel rushes toward the baby bird, but the bird is too nimble. She flies away, oblivious to the attacks.
Thank you, Nancy. Always good to have you here. And let's see. And now we get to the student portion of the night. More than a couple of Gloria's students are here tonight. And it's always a pleasure to have that happen. Gloria, in addition to being an ardent supporter of Stone Soup, is an ardent supporter of poetry and is a teacher, and very often has brought her students to Stone Soup, where we perform to what's usually an aghast audience. No, a very stunned audience sometimes, because it's their first experience, not just with poetry live, but with the crazy poetry scene of Boston and Cambridge. So we have one of our, this is one of the first students of Gloria's to join us in a while, and also the first of them to join us on this new online format. So I hope he can unmute himself and put himself on video if that's possible, as we introduce Zachary Gaudet to the open mic.
Hold on. All right. Hello.
Hi, Zach.
All right. Nice to see you. So I have 2 poems that I can read tonight. So the first one is called Apollo is a Woman. When the sun glares, tinting the air white, nearly blinding me, I close my eyes and imagine a gentle glow warming my skin. Yet I still shiver in the shade and rescind my skin to thick winter sleeves upon a hurried gust who rushes past me. If you stand completely slow for a moment, the air may slow, if only to observe the sun slip on a billowy white dress, adorned with cirrus lace and nimbus hem. I peek at her for a brief moment before she bares her skin again to torment the men who stare too long. The next poem is called To Envy an Oak Leaf. A crisp oak leaf outpaces me on the sidewalk, freed from the branch it was once tethered to. Unaware of its travel, I grew envious of its untroubled direction as it allowed the air to guide it, while I counted the cracks, splitting the concrete path, careful to avoid each one. Those are them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Zach. We hope the poetry bug bites you again and you come back here. We're going to have a lot going on at Stone Soup the next couple of weeks, not the least of which the 50th anniversary celebration. We have more people here special to the open mic by way of Gloria Monaghan's amazing networking system. Let's welcome up next. Encourage people to mute themselves just to make sure that we hear the poets throughout their set out of politeness. And if there's anyone who's just recently joined us who wants to be part of the open mic, just text me. Write down that you want to participate in the chat. Thanks to everyone who has done so. And the next person who is up for the open mic has also done so. Let's welcome up Lily Silky.
This poem is called Gasping for Air.
Oh, I'm sorry, Lily Saki. Lily Saki. I
Yes,
want to
Lily
correct
Saki,
myself.
yes.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. Thank you. Gasping for air. White enemies trained to conquer, the voices of the land, drowned until there is no hope left, to question when the battle shall end. Gone are the days when the people sing songs of glory, waving handkerchiefs of white clouds in the air, marching on to what was perceived. Independence is what erupted from their mouths. Independence is what satisfied their minds. Independence of a state gasping for immaculate air. Earth's hollowness, which the world's lungs are, have no more wind than the upper vaults of air. When will the people release the heaviness of shackles on their feet, hold on to pride that was gifted, forefathers that prayed for the hope of a nation, a generation still lost between what was then and what is now? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lily Saki. And sorry for the mispronouncing of your name. I just have very poor eyesight. We have, especially with the Zoom names being as small as they are, because there's so many of you today, which is very exciting. And thank you for reading as a student of Gloria's. I hope you've been enjoying her work. She cares about all of her students and all of their work very much. That's always evident with every person she brings to Stone Soup. And another person by way of Gloria's amazing network system. Let's welcome up next, Miriam O'neill.
Hi there. I'm not showing my face because I messed with my Zoom room and created the Golden Gate Bridge over my face. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
So I just would like to read two poems from a study I did on Esther Laurie, who was an artist who survived the Holocaust. And she was in the Kovno ghetto in Lithuania, and then in a series of slave labor camps. And this one is from the ghetto, when she was in the ghetto in Lithuania. It's called Birds, Astronomy, and Silence, summer in 1944. It was the silence that almost killed us, as the fires burned and no one looked back, or at any other as we trudged the road toward the ninth fort. The silence was not behind us, but among us, like a stolen breath. Back there, the roar of wood and cloth exploding into flame, the screams of the hiders buried in the fires, the glass exploding in its burning frames, the hiss of cinders already falling into the hair of the slowest, onto the children still allowed to walk beside their mothers this last time, their grandparents already gone. Was there summer in such silence? The purple finches singing as we passed, the tangled briars sprawling under the stately trees on each side, hiding the red-capped sparrows and the larks. Surely there was their song. The woman walking beside me wore her mother's apron under her coat, her father's yellow stars fluttering in her pockets, like the little birds taking little dust baths in the ruts, or a trembling constellation in the sky that indicates true north. And then I have a very short one. It's an Ars Poetica. It's called Poem. A wasp bobbles in the seam where walls meet eve, batters the salt-smudged glass, striving always out. A percussionist, it tests each vertical for egress, thumps the bodhrán on my shelf, red grain of my corner cupboard. The sun westers, the room cools. Still my prisoner, it ornaments a swell of curtain, cellophane wings shut. Stinger curved under itself. It can't remember how it got in. I can't touch it to let it out. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miriam. And it looks like through my own finagling, I have the ability to reach out to Jan, who is having issues. Jan and James Van Looy have been longtime participants of Stone Soup's open mic and past features, and longtime participants of the online incarnation of Stone Soup. So I'm going to give Jan an opportunity to read where she couldn't before. Don't be surprised if she's coming through Carol Weston's connection. To explain that would take more time than I have. Let's welcome up Miss Jan Rowe. Jan, you're able to talk now if you want. Jan, you should be able to, looks like she may have lost the call, so I'll go back to her. We will get her on eventually. Let's welcome up now another participant in the open mic in the past. And now here, let's welcome up Chris Fitzgerald. Chris Fitzgerald, are you up? Chris seems to be down as well. A lot of technical difficulties tonight. So I will pass on Chris for the moment, and we'll go now to one of our brand new participants from last week's open mic. He has a new book out. He was very happy to be part of Stone Soup, and we will allow him to read now. Let's welcome up Mr. Joe Kidd.
Thank you so much. I'm going to read a couple really short poems from my book, The Invisible Waterhole. First one's called Everything is Political. Everything is political. Everything is music. We've already determined those truths. There's nothing, and then there's political music. But nothing is political music too. There are those stretching as far as they can reach to save a body falling. But we all bounce when we hit the floor of hell. It's like that. Dogs and ducks chase us when we smoke, when we are on fire. People run to water to make movies of people on fire. The tall people here, the ones that stand strong against the wind, are spinning, taking showers, dropping their jewelry in the street. For the rest of us to press into bookmarks. I pet their fur, paint their underground toes with lipstick. They like to listen to political music, harmonicas covered with lipstick. Second one is called Please Let the Dead Rest in Peace. Please let the dead rest in peace. They walk in hollowed sand, holding a shovel in one hand. Sleep in a hollow cave where their history is green and brown, the color of the bones of their cheeks. Please let the dead rest in peace. Please let the dead disappear. Like a conversation in space, or a whispering wind that carries a leaf across an ocean of light. They are drowning in time. Please let the dead disappear. Please let the dead have their way. They belong to each other in a valley of silence. Plans for a future that can never take place. They are where they must be, alone, helpless, and free. Please let the dead have their way. That's all. Thank you, brothers and sisters.
Thank you.
Otis,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you very much, Joe. And I'm going to admit two more people to the audience in the open mic. We have a much larger open mic than normal because we have a larger audience than more normal, which is very thrilling. I'm going to ask again if Chris Fitzgerald is able to unmute himself and join us.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, good.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chris Fitzgerald is up, and I'm going to be checking on Jan Rowe while he reads. So thank you again, Chris.
This is a love poem, one of the better ones since the failed attempt by the Eliot Auden Pound blog to smother the joy in the language. It's called Wit Spine Charm. I tried rowing and sewing in the occasional crossword, but until I put my hands on your ass while slow dancing in the living room of your apartment on Sawyer Ave, I had no idea how important my hands were to my pursuit of happiness during my stay on the planet Earth. You recall the next day, I gave up engaging in pickup games, playground basketball. I couldn't take a chance of hurting my hands. I mean, I wouldn't have missed sewing and rowing in the occasional crossword, but all the rest, all the best. Thank you. Are you there, Chad? Were you able to hear me?
I can hear you now. Yep. Chris, are you there?
We heard you, Chris.
Okay, I'm not sure what's happening, but I'm gonna have to skip you, Chris. Sorry, I don't know what's going on. But let's go now to, I believe Jan says her problems have ended. Jan, are you able to talk? Are you able to say anything? Okay, connecting to audio. Yes. Hi, Jan.
Let's see. Does that work?
I think it does.
I'm on two things.
Okay, we could probably shut off the other thing, but looks like we can hear you now. So I would shut off whatever you have in the background, and also I'm just gonna make sure everyone else is muted. It's been a tough journey, but we're ready to go. Okay, so okay, Jan, so you're up.
Okay. This is from what I did in the writing group. It's not working.
All right, let me check something, Jan. Let me see something here. Aha, I see the problem.
Should be okay. Is it all right now?
Yes.
Is it all right now?
Yes, I'm removing Jim's phone.
That's a double.
Okay, so I think we're good now.
Okay. This is from the Black Seed Writers Group the other day on Memory Lane. Remember when venture capitalism used to be vulture capitalism? Remember when the owners who hired non-citizens used to be arrested rather than the workers? These same workers often have their wages stolen by the owners because the owners can. Remember when the hedge funds did not have thousands and thousands of houses gathered with the help of banksters in our government through foreclosures? The CEO of Blackstone hedge fund stood behind Trump at the inauguration. He could have had any administrative position, but none pay enough money. Remember when the unions created a middle class where a family could own a home, a car, send kids to college with just one adult working one job? Remember when the oligarchs, the rich, were in control? So that's from the Black Seed Writers every Tuesday, the St. Paul's Cathedral, breakfast served, 9:30 to 10:45. James Parker, thank you.
Thank you, Jan. And let's go up now to, let's see if he is here with us. CC Ashagra, you joined us a short while ago. Are you able to participate on the open mic?
Yes, here I am. Hi. Okay. Imagine now is here as if the coming is gone. The deed not yet already happened. The thought soon to be just transpired. The prayer answered before the praying asked outward. The birth to be was done and died happy. Undisturbed was God. When the war of all wars are never started, manifestation wasted nothing beautiful. Ugly never came into existence except to be born, live, and die inside a life of insatiable vanity. Open into the empty. Go through the temptation of fear. Make peace with every warless question. Love holds nothing to hold. Nothing was. Nothing was lost or found missing. Open into the empty, frees you from fear is. Enter through and through every no thing. To tell time when the hands of all clocks fall off and numbers become breaths. Those are new pieces from my new manuscript I'm working on, Done Is Now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, CC. We're getting to the end of the open mic, slowly but surely. We have Ethan Mackler and hopefully James Van Looy closing us out. We're going to ask the editor and publisher of Oddball Magazine to come forward. He is, as I just said, the editor and publisher and founder of Oddball Magazine. And not only that, but one of the founders of the Oddball Foundation. And I'm hoping he is, oh, there he is right there. We're gonna get him unmuted. He is unmuted and he is here. Let us welcome up. And I urge you to submit to Oddball Magazine at your earliest convenience if you have poetry and you want to share it. Many people from Gloria's classes have done so. We've published a lot of authors for the first time, which we're proud about. Let's welcome up Mr. Jason Wright.
Thanks, Chad. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
What a great open mic. Looking forward to hearing Gloria read. This poem is from Jagged Thought from this Tuesday. And it's called In a World, and subtitle Frequency. I sometimes start my poems with the words in a world. It's the first thing that comes to me because really, in a world has so many places you can go. It says, in a world of chaos, there's a certain sweetness in the calm of a silent storm. In a world of drama, there are the goodwill hunters and the goodwill hunting. There are the Shakespeares and the it's not your fault, Will. It's not your fault. Both hold up. In a world of comedy, there are the laughing stocks. In a world of democracy, there are the gunshots. In a world of capitalism, there's the anarchist. In a world of devils, there's the Eucharist. In a world of nonsense, there's the theory of everything. In a world of deli slices, there are sandwich thins. In the world of books, there's the Bible and Tools of Titans. Both books written, looking at things different, with a whole lot of people saying a whole lot of things. In a song like Bohemian Rhapsody, there's the silence of piano keys and the manic screams of Freddie Mercury, the crescendo of the chorus, the broken down ballad, the thunderous lyrics begging for forgiveness. In a world of Freddie Mercury and John Lennon, there is silence. But in this world, there is so much that in a world cannot contain. It's a beautiful sentence because there is so much in a world. There is dancing, there are bears and there are dancing bears and there are apples and pears and hip hop aficionados and there are pianos and basements and there are bullets everywhere. There are macros and edits of poems sitting in solitaire. There's a medicine withdrawal in my system and chaos lying dormant like a lioness or a society of guns when it's really the police that need re-education. To bring community peace, we need to police, teach CIT with positivity by building up our mental health community to understanding schizophrenia. Listen to a dead Kennedy speak these same words of wisdom from his complex, not a message complex, but straight like a bullet to the head. And in a world where fresh fruit lie with rotten vegetables, we habitually kill the poor. And in a world like this world, there's so much beauty that outweighs the ugly. So much blood pulsing through our collective bodies, so much energy to fix it all if we want to. So in a world of me and you, us and them, they and us, him and her, black and white, rich and poor, Democrat and Republican, advocate, lobbyist, protest, car bombs, flags half mast, flags half stand, McDonald's, fries and shakes and lullabies. In a world of bullets and macros, pens and camera lenses, freaks and geeks and apatows, in Pleasantville's, Goodwill Huntings and Amityvilles, in Shawshanks, Wonderlands and Magicians, in environmentalism and advocacy, and beauty and tragedy, in libraries and museums, and communism and taxes and shell-shocked veterans, in broken watches and neighborhood watches, in people frustrated and lakes man-made, in man-made slaves and trafficked kids, and being a kid and being fucking trafficked. What America are you going to do? In this world of bombs, napalm, death, and psalms, in a world of grass being grown, rice being thrown, babies being born, idealists and nihilists. We're not going to save it all in a day, but in a world, our world, you have a chance. While your breath effortlessly exhales from your lungs, while your eyes are open for 16 and closed for 8 to open again with fresh lens, to get the fucking pen moving, or lose weight, or plant a tree, sign a petition, change the frequency. What are you going to do in this world?
Gonna stand up for a standing ovation. Barry, is that kid a star or what the hell? That's all I gotta say because I don't know anything. Thanks, Jason. Very nice.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Michelle, and thank you, Jason. I'm going to bring it up over now to a musical interlude, which will hopefully close out with James. He and Jen have been having phone issues all night, and James has been the penultimate closer for the open mic. I don't think there's anyone who is waiting to be on the open mic, but if you are, put yourself down on the in the comments in the chat section of this call. But I think we've gotten to everybody. Except
it has brought out some creativity. Maybe I'll join you next Wednesday, working on something during the breaks.
Sounds great.
It. Thank you.
Sounds great. We'd be honored. And let's bring us now to, I hope he's still here. I don't think it's just hard to find everyone. This is we're in a 2-page system, almost going on 3 even for the galleries. Let's welcome up the man who I've called the Pulse of Stone Soup with a musical interlude. Let's welcome up Mr. Ethan Mackler.
Thank you, Chad. And I put in the chat, could you not record this?
Oh, okay. I will put a pause on that. Okay, so.
Plates under the south end and back bay shift and quiver beneath the foundation set in tidal flats. The real estate deals of a whole generation teeter far, far above all us lost citizens. We clutch our deeds and credit cards. How many pieces and parcels can we take out and stack on top of a whole structure before the game finally ends in a crash? Jenga, like a wave, tsunami that breaks against the hills of our ever-growing sophistication. And here's a little song for you. When whippoorwills call and evening is nigh, I hurry to my blue heaven. Turn to the right, a little white light will lead you to my blue heaven. You'll see a smiling face, a fireplace, a cozy room, a little nest that's nestled where the roses bloom. Just Molly and me, and the baby makes free. We're happy in our blue heaven. We're happy in our blue heaven.
Thank you, James. Hope
If
you
I
sent
had
that.
known there was going to be a song, I would have gotten on my tap shoes.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, James. Again, James, it's all one thing. I hope you can send me that poem tonight, James. I would like to make sure it's included, at least at some point. If you sent it to me already, thank you. James's column, It's All One Thing, at Oddball Magazine every Thursday at 11 o'clock, which in the morning, which means tomorrow. Can't wait to get that together after this call. And I should also mention, for those of you who want some incentive to come back, we do have the very well-traveled poet, David Leo Seurat, who is featuring next Wednesday on the 28th. And hopefully we'll be announcing more Stone Soup-centric features. I say Stone Soup-centric because Stone Soup has 50 years of history, and a lot of people who are regulars and friends of Jack and regulars around this time who have a long history, who have long relations and lots of love for Stone Soup. So I hope to have that. So I hope to have the roster announced sooner rather than later. It's been a little depressing to think about the issue of planning Stone Soup without a big audience. I mean, God, if this many people came into a Stone Soup audience in next week, I would die a happy person. But that's not going to happen yet. So hopefully we can all get together, as many of us as possible can get together in September around the time of Jack Power's birthday. More on that later. We have to focus on the now, but I hope you guys can come back so we can think about the future and experience it together. Tonight's feature, which you've all waited so patiently for, and thanks to all the poets for their succinct open mic time. And for their patience in getting to the person we've all been waiting for. I got some boilerplate to read and some appreciative statements. Let's tell you who's featuring tonight in case some of you don't know. Gloria Monaghan is a professor of humanities at Wentworth University. She has published 5 books of poetry, Flawed from Finishing Line Press, Torero from Nix's Mate, The Garden from Flutter Press, False Spring from Adelaide, oh God, I mispronounced that so badly, and Hydrangea from Kelsey Books. Her poems have appeared in Alexandra Quarterly, Two River, Aurorian, Chiron, Nix's Mate, First Literary Review East, among many others. In 2018, her poem Into Grace was nominated for the Pushcart Prize. Her book False Spring was nominated for the Griffin Prize. Gloria remains a good friend of Stone Soup, and a good friend and a great associate of mine who has done everything she can to help push what Stone Soup can laughingly call a brand in the 21st century. I appreciate her friendship and her support, and I appreciate every new person she brings to witness Stone Soup, to hear Stone Soup, to experience it in its many forms. Even if that person never comes in again, I do appreciate that they can spread a story, and hopefully they at least come out of it with appreciation for Gloria's work and her devotion to spoken word. Let's welcome up now, put your hands together 30, 40 times for Gloria Monaghan.
Well, I am just completely thrilled to be here, Chad. Thank you for doing this and carrying on the work of Jack Powers. And it's so nice to see the people who I started to go to Stone Soup when I was in grad school so many years ago. And it's so nice to see some of you still here. And thank you to all the people that have never been here before. And I'm so blown away by my students' work. I'm gonna lose it. I can't believe how good they got. I'm going to read some poetry from my book Hydrangea. My cousin Frankie did the cover art, and thank you to Kelsey Books, great publication for this. This book took me about 7 years to write, and it really is a journey about overcoming sickness, and I know a lot of people are struggling with different levels of sickness, so I hope that you can find solace and healing in that. This is called The Meadow. I found love in the red stable horse, in the meadow of darkened lavender. Early fall brings forth the deeper red of the rose blossoms. In the forest, looking at the pine overhead, I think of Michigan, dirt and rust smell of the creek. We inherited the bone of archers in our ankles, running through the grass, Orpheus at our backs. His sweet kisses light the way, a smile on his face through branches of the willow. His sweet kisses light our way. His smile slowly fades. Russeted pine needles cover the path. Don't tell me about death, my child. I don't want to hear it. So I loved all the references in the open mic to music because I love music so much. And I love the song My Blue Heaven too. This is, I wrote a series after Rene Descartes' meditation. You might remember that he wrote them in the fireplace when he was secluded. Meditation 2. I lost myself. I lost a thread of myself in a Bill Evans song. No matter the title, you get the picture. Slow unraveling of smoke, decimated like the smattering cigar ash. When someone holds your hand, try and remember it, not like the rain. Feel the lines of the hand, the slow energy of their hair between the nape of the neck and the collarbone. Take in where they place their hand, the weight of the hand on your hip. Notice where the hair from the scalp ends and the neck recedes into a slow movement like a song that leaves you transparent and lost, the road forgotten. The flowers you saw only yesterday, now brown, there is still that feeling, the recess of green in the convex nature of the leaf that you have avoided since 11 years of age, which is when you last saw everything as it was on the grass looking up into the crab apple tree. So around the time I was going through this sickness, I was walking a lot in the forest, which is very healing. And I felt really connected to that atmosphere. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen a beautiful choreographer, Pina Bausch's dances. She died of cancer, I believe. She decided to be untreated in 2011. And this is called Thanks for the Rain Part 2. In a dream, I worked in the car wash, not pumping gas, the part where they shine the car. Eventually, I went to buy donuts for my family. The cashier took forever. But then she said, "Did you discover the beauty you never thought you had?" So I went to the forest. It wasn't like the birch tree was struck down as much as it fell halfway and stayed there. Like the arc of the arm of one of Pina Bausch's dancers, the inside muscle being the whole point. Or the color of green on the underside of a leaf. When you think all is lost, there it is. The sun shining through, even brighter than before. The white paper skin of the birch falling, the small yellow leaves of the elm falling through the air. Small red maple leaves stamp the pavement. Each leaf is outlined in black. The scarlet finished lines and the red within, almost invisible. I was really looking for, maybe you guys are familiar with The Last Picture Show, directed by Peter Bogdanovich. Yeah. It's just there's one scene where Sam the lion is talking to that woman. I can't remember her name. She doesn't really kind of deserve a name. But anyway, they're having a conversation. And this is called Every Moment is Beautiful. Every moment is beautiful and the robin is gone. Desire makes everything blossom. I was there when you took your hat off and shook your hair like the blonde mane of a lion. They called you Sam the lion. I called you Sailor. All winter I longed for chocolate, and now it is spring. The crocuses have shot up, situating themselves around the fairy. She waves at them with her golden locks. Your eyes are green and your brow black. Too soon the daylight comes and the dream disappears right before your eyes. Too late, the fairy waves her hand at the small purple and white flowers gathered unlikely in the side yard, where the robin once had his fill. And that line, desire makes all things blossom, is from Proust. I just have a couple more. This friend of mine who's here today, right now, should I call her out? Cherry Soriano. Also an amazing musician and very well-known artist. She did a hypnotherapy on me and took me back. And so I wrote this poem about that. And it's called Monarch Butterfly. He plants his careful kiss on my neck and moves so slowly away. I barely notice the wings moving, white and gold with specks of purple and blue. He is shy, careful not to cause a scene. He is grace, and I am the sunset. He is anima, and I am lion. He is the heather in the field of Rome, and I am the water with the small mosquito lodged above. We are inevitable. I am the Roman soldier who lost his last conflict. The stone and the rose stand behind my shadow like a tired wife, her aging shoulder against my rib. My lost son sings me to sleep. His armor, an echo in my heart. So I just have two more. I don't know if anyone in here has a daughter coming of age, but I wrote this for my daughter Josie, who's here. Josie, and she was born in August. Both my children are August babies. So this is called Car Ride, Immaculate Conception. Thanks, Chad. I wish you'd share her screen so she could blush. On the feast day, there she is. Do you guys see her? She's laughing with her friends. On the feast day of the Immaculate Conception, I look at my daughter's face and realize she is 16. Her skin seems whiter, her nose straighter. She smiles less. The small freckles on her chest cluster together like a universe, spreading into infinity like the iris of an eye. Tiny green and brown stars shooting off from the origin of darkness and subtle space, non-negotiable and irreversible. Like a car riding up a mountainside. You hear it in your ears before even recognizing the road. Even the air is different. How are we doing on time, Chad? Do I have time for one more?
Yeah, I'd even say you have time for an encore.
So I have all these movie references and stuff, but I know my brother Tommy, who's also here, will recognize one of these lines. Maybe you guys saw this movie, Midnight Cowboy. Anybody see that movie?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a great performance. So this is called Witness 1. Witness the orange ochre leaves on the trees right before they fall and end their life away from the tree. How magnificent they are in all their color. This solitary crow flies mildly in the sky. The mulberry bush turns green to orange, falling into the endless red, fading into the heart, into the final light that will carry us through winter's dusk days. The skunks will make their home under the wild branches. The tulip tree is green. You think that will last forever. 2 days later, the tree in fullness is yellow. 2 crows sit contemplating the day on the green lawn. One looks over his shoulder at me as if to say, "What is it you want? We're having a conversation here." You know, that wasn't a very good impersonation of Dustin Hoffman, but okay, I'll just do one more, I guess, if you guys have been very
Ratso.
You've been so good. Miriam O'Neill is here, and so is Kelly. I think Kelly Hope is still here. You guys have been so patient. You know, they're in a wonderful group of writers called the Wild Geraniums, and I'm so grateful to everyone who's here. I want to really thank everyone who's here, and I want to have you try to come back to Stone Soup and support. This is the oldest running poetry venue in Boston, right, Chad? Is that correct?
I want to say at least among them. It's definitely up there. The only one that might have us beat is the New England Poetry Club.
Yes, I forgot. Yes, that's true. That's true. But, you know, so many great venues in Boston closed. Cantab Lounge closed. So many places didn't make it through COVID. Chad is a relentless supporter, as is Jason Wright, Timothy Gagger. All you guys are just so amazing to keep this machine going. And it takes more than mechanical work. It takes heart. And so just we need to all be mindful of that. And I hope you come back for Jack Powers' 50th anniversary on the 1st. I'm started to write these dog poems, so I do want to pay tribute to my dog lover friends here. I'm not just a cat lover, okay? One of my geranium friends reminded me that dog is God spelled backwards. And so I think that's why I'm writing the dog poems. So this is the last poem, and thanks again, everyone, for showing up. And this goes out to both my brothers. We had a dog named Sonia Friedman after the town psychologist. It was my mother's idea. The Christmas tree glittered tragic. Radishes sat in the crystal bobbed bowl. I knew nothing was turning out as planned. In the summer, my brother and I went to work in Upper Michigan. The dog came too. We swam in the lake with Sonia. She barked and scratched us, trying to keep in her mind that we were not drowning. There was a huge hill to climb to get to the beach. Our muscles developed over summer, and peonies languished in August heat. My room had a curtain in the middle, indicating the past presence of an invalid. I decided it would be good to play the part and bought some dresses at the thrift store from the 1950s. Flouncy sequins, too large, and also a nurse's outfit, which I wore for years. The dog was a mix of shepherd and lab. She had a beauty mark like Liz Taylor. Her muzzle was black and her ears and coat the color of cinnamon, except her paws were black. My brother was a fry cook. I was the salad girl. He bought a Pinto with Givenchy leather interior. It seemed odd to go to that trouble. Never certain what happened to that dog or where it slept. Only that God watches our hearts, bemused, and we can never be too far from what we love. Thank you all so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gloria. Awesome job.
Beautiful.
Bravo.
What a treat.
You glow.
Thank you so much. Peter, you're just in time for the poem that was about you I just recently wrote when I was so angry with you. Thank you, everyone, so much. Thank you, Chad.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Gloria. That was fantastic. And Gloria, give us a link to where we can purchase your latest book.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Forgot to do that.
And if you do have a PayPal account, Venmo, or Cash App you want us to donate to, please leave that as well. We do try and
I
support
just
the
would,
poets
if
here.
people want to donate anything to Stone Soup, that would be great.
You're a good girl.
And if anyone wants to join Stone Soup, I may have for the Stone Soup open mic on the 1st, a donation plate. I mean, I've been doing very good. I've been very lucky to be an essential employee in the time of the pandemic. But so at least I've been solvent enough to keep Stone Soup going and not have to worry about anything like costs of running a Zoom or such, but every little bit would help. I do want to support the poets first. So Gloria's latest book, Hydrangea, from Kelsey Books, which I think was it released last summer or last winter?
It was released in July, Chad.
In July. So there's actually a couple of places I can recommend you sending a manuscript to get a review if you haven't gotten them already. I'm doing the same thing for myself, doing the same hustle for July. But at any rate,
I want to say that Lily Poetry Review, edited by Eileen Cleary, and there's a co-editor, I can't think of the other person's name. Peter Valenti from Cambridge just wrote a beautiful review of Hydrangea, and I want to do a big shout out to Lily Poetry and to Nix's Mate and to Oddball, and these small presses are just invaluable. And thank you. Christina Jones is the co-editor of Lily Poetry Review, and they just, if you haven't gotten that review yet, please go on and get it. That is one of the best little magazines, journals. It's little, but it's big. And Mom Egg Review, Jen Martelli and Cindy Veach. So lots of local, really amazing writers. And I'm so grateful to Chad for you to keep this whole community going.
Thank you again, Gloria. And thanks to everyone who came for tonight and make this more special. It can be like this every week, people. All we need is you. I do implore you to come next week for David Leo Seurat, who has spent time in Paris. I think he's in Canada now, originally a New Englander. He was a multiple time open mic participant and a feature at Stone Soup in the past. He's coming back online and he has new work coming out. David Leo Seurat is his name. You can actually look him up on YouTube and there's work there. He also helps run an international poetry circle, which I'm sure he'll tell you about, which I believe is works between at least two areas of two locations, Paris and the United States, so it is an international
It's
affair.
called Spoken World Online, and it's on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. He lives in New Brunswick right now.
Yes. So thank you. Thanks very much for that extra info, John. And thanks to everyone for participating. And again, the links for, oh, and don't forget the buttonwood.org forum by CC Ashagra. Check out all the links while you can on the Stone Soup chat. I'll stay talking for 30 seconds more, and hopefully we'll have an amazing feature. I can't go live just yet, although I guess the Cambridge Poetry Mashup does have permission to meet out in the garden. We don't have an outside location available for night, and probably wouldn't be very wise. And a lot of our Stone Soup audience is in that category of potentially being, very high risk for the coronavirus. So hopefully I'll do a combination of live and online, meaning I'll have the feature with myself so they can perform for you, because performing for us on Zoom has been a problem for this poet, and she's one of the first choices I've had for to be part of this. Carol Weston will be live with us in September, but I do have my May choice, and I hope she is. I do hope she is open to this. That's all I can say for right now. Definitely buy Gloria's latest book. And for those of you who aren't on video, please go on video as we do the obligatory wave goodbye. This is almost like a section of the old Foxborough Stadium for the Patriots. Do the big wave. And thank you guys for coming tonight, and be here for next week and be here for next month as we celebrate Stone Soup's 50th anniversary. And I'll pause, so we're not going like this because it looks kind of creepy. But thank you again, and take care of yourselves. And thank you for showing Gloria some love. Show her some shekels, and support the book, and support Lily Poetry Review. Support Mom Egg, whose newest issue is out now. The show is over. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
We see you next time.
Bye-bye. Bye, Gloria. We'll talk. Bye.